Again, we'll have hopefully a bell and not a clink. So relaxing into your comfortable sitting posture. I like to begin by taking 3 deep breaths, intentionally deep breaths. Just taking a deep breath in and releasing. And breathing in the aliveness of this moment fully. And relaxing with the out breath. And one more time, a deep breath in. And releasing. And now allowing the breath to flow in its own natural rhythm. And feel free to do whatever is your usual practice. And I'll share with you a little bit how I like to practice. I like to rest the attention with this movement of the breath in the body. Breathing with mindfulness. Mindfully aware of what's happening in the body as we breathe. Aware of the sounds of life around you. Aware of the stream of thoughts and feelings. And allowing the attention to settle gently with this ebb and flow of the breath in the body. Keeping each breath company from the beginning of the breath through the length of the breath to where it simply vanishes and the next breath is born. aware of the rising of each breath and the passing away. And when the mind wanders away, when the attention drifts into the past, whatever came before this moment, or the future, whatever may follow, just coming back to the sensations in the body associated with the movement of the breath. The expansion and contraction of the rib cage, the rise and fall of the belly and the diaphragm. The coolness of the inhalation in the nostrils and the warmth of the exhalation. The movement of the breath in and out of the body never ends as long as we are alive. This ebb and flow Just noticing, appreciating this ever-present movement of the breath. And if for any reason bringing attention and focusing on the breath is not calming or soothing for you, just noticing this dance of sensations in the body. Maybe resting attention with your hands or your feet on the floor or the cushion. The coming and going of sounds as they arise and fade away. We're studying the birth and death of experience. How a breath is born, has its being, and dissolves, making room for the next breath. appreciating the sounds of life around you, the quiet, sensations of aliveness in the body. And the movement of the breath, our ever loyal, faithful companion in this life. So when you feel that you've been lost in thought, just gently shift the body back an inch or maybe 2 inches into this posture of receptivity and openness, receiving the moment. Instead of tipping forward toward the next one, simply settling back into this moment, this breath, and this one. And you can feel that subtle shift of energy when you move your body back slightly. Just a very subtle relaxation to be back home in the present moment. So thank you everybody for this lunchtime meditation. Um, really a great thing to sit together at this time of day. And yeah, I'll just say a few words and then I would like to open up for some conversation. Will, I am so happy to see you again. really great to see you. I know, I really miss our Sunday group. And very happy to see Risika and everybody, Lauren, everybody, Madison, people who were at the retreat this past week. So I just will say a few general words and then, like I said, open up to you. You know, as humans, we're really meant to go through transitions, through the phases of our life, through the life cycle. We have our youngest grandson just turned 6 on Sunday, and he has a loose tooth. You know, we're meant to lose our baby teeth and grow new teeth, and then we're meant to have these precious years of childhood before puberty, and then going through the turmoil of those years, and then coming into our full blooming and blossoming as young adults, and then, gradually shifting into more and more life experience until we get to become the elders who actually have some wisdom to pass on down the generations. My Soto Zen teacher, Kobun Chino Otagawa, Kobun used to say, I met him when I had been already practicing for a few years. I was 31, and I think he was maybe 38 or 9 at that time, but he seemed so old and wise, and he said Zazen, meditation, gives you premature wisdom. And I love that because we're going to have wisdom by the time we're old. We're going to have a lot of wisdom about life cycles and how things come and go and patterns and so forth. But why wait? The beauty of mindfulness, the beauty of meditation practice is, and the beauty of the Dharma teachings is that we get to be wise before we grow old. And so hopefully that wisdom can inform our life. And it's great to become true elders who have some wisdom to pass along. And some of you already are, like me, and some of you will be for sure, because here you are meditating. But with each transition, we go through a kind of descent where we have to let go of the old identity that we had, so that new energies and new motivations and new inspirations can emerge. One teacher, a Rinzai Zen teacher that I sat with for a while, he used to define Zazen or meditation as making room for another. Like with each breath, that pause, we make room for the next breath. With each sensation we notice, we see the dance, we see this sort of ever-changing field of sensation. The sounds that pass away make room for new sounds to emerge. And one of the reasons we practice loving awareness, mindfulness, one of the reasons we practice is because we're training how to meet these times of descent. Like I said during the meditation, with each breath, in a way, we're studying the birth and death of experience. And, you know, we just had an election, and each election we go into a kind of liminal space between the world of the past and the future world, where we as a nation have to separate from what we know and got used to and enter a new phase of life. And I won't say more about the election, except to say that that is what is asked of us. And I guess I will just say that for some of us who didn't like the result of the election, some of you may have, some of us didn't. That's how it is with games and elections. Somebody wins, somebody loses, but I don't want to minimize the importance of this one. And I just want to say that I think it's important for all of us to not to think that other people, whether it's scientists or politicians or corporate leaders or who, you know, the visible other people in our society should deal with it, and not to feel overwhelmed by the scale of the problems. or too emotionally vulnerable to think about it, but to really give each other support to strengthen our hearts so that we can respond and be responsive to what appears next. So I could say, look, I'm a Dharma teacher. I could talk a lot. I can press play and talk. And I prefer not to because I really want to hear from you and be sure that things I'm talking about are things that you would be interested in hearing. So that's my purpose for wanting us to have more of a conversation together. And I just want to invite you to either use your raise hand function, and I think or just wave wildly. And anyway, Madeline, if your camera isn't on, you really do need to use the raise hand function. But Madeline and I will keep an eye out for you, and anything you would like to offer or say, or a practice question, even a simple practice question, always welcome. So, Sage.
Hello.
Hi.
I just want to say hi to you. Can you hear me? I feel like I'm reverbing.
No, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, then I'm just having, I don't know, Satan's over here then. Anywho, I would just want to say hi to all the Big Bear people, and I miss you guys. And thank you, Trudy, and everybody at Big Bear for such a magical time. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a wonderful retreat. I'm glad you had a good retreat.
That's great.
Arisika.
I just wanted to say, I don't know why I'm hearing an echo.
I hear it too now. Let's see.
Do you have two devices open at the same time by any chance? No.
Well,
No,
I'll be brief.
It wasn't you, Sage. It's something with the sound. I don't know what it is.
Maybe
I'm
Madeline
so-
and Trudy can mute while she's talking.
I'm sorry, what?
Trudy, if you and I try muting while she's talking, that might
Okay.
help.
Okay.
I'm grateful for the teachings that tell us to be in the moment, because what we're hearing is that there are going to be many, many changes in this new presidential election. And periodically, my mind goes to all kinds of apocalyptic scenarios. And the tension, I was with a friend from school yesterday, and she was talking about detention centers and federal, spin out, spin out, spin out. And what I love is this reminder that what we have is this moment. And just, even if things are going to change, how can I be most fully present, most fully joyful? If this is the last time to experience some of our freedoms, then I want to experience them. And I want to reach out to people, and I want to support people. Maybe there's some preparation that I should be doing, but right now I can't figure it out. So I think what I can do is be in the moment, which also supports my health. I have health issues, stress-related health issues, and to be less stressful. And so really grateful for the practice, and knowing that in times of stress, coming back to the practice, however we do it, is always useful, practical, lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. I can't imagine a better preparation than what you just said, Arisika. Thank you. Victoria.
Yes, thank you, Trudy. Wonderful to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
I think I'm echoing too.
I don't hear the echo so much. How about all of you?
It seems like if more than one person is open, it's going to echo.
Okay.
So Trudy, we may need to ask you to mute while they're speaking.
I will do that.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm all alone here. Okay, thank you.
No, you're not.
I after all these years, I still can't seem to sit still. And I've tried walking meditation. I've tried just about everything in the book because it's been a number of years now. And I think I'm wondering lately if it has to do with trying too hard, because I lately I thought I'm just going to return to the breath and forget about all these other more elaborate ways to practice, because if I, that's the basic. And like and I'm breathing anyway, and I'm grateful to be breathing and be alive. But then I try too hard. So then then it suddenly becomes this perfecting of the breath and this perfecting, I don't know. And so I'm wondering how much, at the end of the day, I need to really focus on self-compassion, because I'm just, anyway, I just wonder if you had some words of wisdom, because I feel like I'm all these years, I'm a professional musician. And for me, the word practice means you get better. It's just, that's what the word means. And I think about my own profession as a musician. If I hadn't gotten better, I would never have been able to be a professional musician. And so then I think, well, what's the matter with me? Like, why it should be easier to meditate than to learn an instrument. So what is this practice about if there's no end in sight? So I just wondered if you could share some words of wisdom on that, because it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting more and more tangled up in my own processes. Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, I feel like your question contains the answers. You obviously, you're being hard on yourself because you're not improving the way you would be improving if you practice an instrument. But this is your idea of improvement. And sure, we want to learn how to be calmer and settle down and not be so restless or have to keep moving or all the things you're describing. But meditation is really a come as you are party. And the trick is allowing ourselves to be as we are, to allow ourselves to be just authentically the way we are. And it's so paradoxical, because with the allowing, things actually do change. But you named it, Victoria, that trying too hard or striving, it's like spinning your wheels on ice or snow. It just doesn't work. So I just would strongly recommend you to follow your own intuition and advice, which would be, yes, practice more loving kindness, do some self-compassion, self-soothing practices, see how that feels. And it's not like you're training to become a professional meditator. And do you know what? You're not. You're training to be able to enjoy life. And that instruction that I gave about just shifting your body back and receiving the moment, that's a good instruction for you. Not to try to do anything to make it better, to make yourself better, but just be willing to receive how it is, like you're listening to music instead of having to create the music. So what if meditation for you is just a listening practice?
I knew you words. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Erin. Erin, you're muted, I think.
Oh, I was, yes. Can you hear me now? Okay. Thank you so much for that meditation. I have a bit of a rudimentary question, even though I've been meditating for many years. I have a lot of trouble focusing on the breath. I sometimes find that it activates me more, like maybe brings out my sympathetic nervous system is what it feels like. It feels dysregulating, actually, a little bit, not dramatically. And I find that when I kind of unhook from the busy mind, I just kind of relax back, like you were saying, into this open abyss, maybe I'd call it, is when I feel like I may be doing it right, or I'm like actually in the meditation, and then if I experience a thought, or I can see that and let go of that, then and so my question is there a like, is it okay that I'm doing that, sort of relax back into the best thing? Or is there a blind spot? Because focusing on your breath is so, you hear it all the time in meditations. And so I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, the Buddha taught that. And so, naturally, since the Dharma that we practice comes from the Buddha's teachings, we do that. But there's two things to remember. The first is that the Buddha's teachings are really what we know from teachings having been passed down. It was 200 years before they were written down. So just think of the game of telephone. There's a lot of changes that might have happened along the way. And I think meditating, the reason I said at the beginning, meditating with the breath, is because I think trying to pin the attention onto the breath, I just don't think that's very helpful unless you're doing, concentration practice in retreat. But for everyday meditation, meditating with the breath for me means I'm aware of my breathing, but I'm also aware of everything else that's going through my mind. Or, at one point the garbage truck came. I don't know if you could hear it, but I sure could. Do you know what I mean? Just all the things that are happening in this moment. And the breath is there. And sometimes I like to teach just letting yourself be caressed by the movement of the breath, or even being loved by the breath that never leaves you, no matter what you do, as long as you're alive. I mean, what relationship could we ever say that about? So, yes, I think stepping back and just receiving the moment, listening to what's happening inside and outside, internally, externally, it's enough, because you're going to learn things. And you're going to see your patterns, and you start to see them with a kind of almost endearment. Oh no, there you are again. And the beauty of it is you start to be able to see these things without having to act on them, and that's so liberating. It gives you so much freedom. The actual freedom to make wise choices in this life. So I don't think it's a rudimentary question. You've been practicing for years, and you've heard these instructions to stay with the breath. But like I said, I don't think it's useful to try and rivet, pin your attention to the breath. It just, I think it just creates other problems. Like Victoria was saying, getting into a tangle, and then doubting yourself. Because a lot of what you're expressing is just doubt. So I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, I'll just say it was extremely helpful. Because when you said the with at the beginning, that actually really worked. And then I fell back into the old way of really trying to focus hard, on the breath. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I see you saying my name.
Yeah, I'm trying to mute myself so there won't be an echo, but hi, Rick.
Hi, Trudy and all. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Oh, I'm muted, so I can't hear me. But anyways, thank you so much for the retreat. And Lisa and Catherine were amazing as well. I had two things. One's an insight that actually may help the last few questions that I had while on retreat. And the second is just a quick question. When we did the labyrinth, well, we didn't formally do the labyrinth, but I did. And I'd done a labyrinth many times before without insight. And I was kind of like, what's the point? But this time, particularly with a dynamic I'm having in a family system situation that I've been holding on to and looking for answers for so long and trying to get closer to the answers, as I was doing the labyrinth, you know, you start getting closer and closer to the circle, but then at least the labyrinth up there took me way to the outside after I was so close to the circle, the very, very, very perimeter. And I'm like, I'm a million miles away from where I'm trying to be. How did this happen? And then it pulled me with almost a direct path right back into the center. And I guess that is maybe the point, and I finally caught that insight. But it was so powerful, and it's a parallel for you know, just what we've been speaking about for the last 5 minutes, but also some things that I've been trying, you know, almost like grabbing sand and having the tighter you grip on the sand, the more it passes through your fingers. So I just wanted to share that insight because I didn't get a chance at the retreat, but I thought it was timely also. My last question was something Catherine had made a referral to somebody she had worked with at Spirit Rock, who you know. I still am in need of a referral for something in particular, and I was going to reach out via email to you and just wanted to let you know that, if that's okay.
Yes, it's fine to reach out to me by email. Just don't expect me to have an instant corporate response. You know what I mean? My work does not require me to answer immediately. So, but if you don't hear from me in a few days, I'm so grateful to people who resend their email.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, don't hesitate to resend. Sure. So I guess I see that Madeline is talking to us.
Yeah, let's see. Let's have you mute for one moment, Trudy. If you could mute for one moment. Oh, thank you. We just wanted to thank everyone for attending the retreat today. We have a retreat with Trudy on the calendar for this May of 2025 at the Big Bear Retreat Center. So everything is on the link that I just put in the chat. It's called Coming Home to Our Senses. And as soon as I put myself on mute, I can also open it up for Trudy to share with us anything local or online that she has coming up if people want to hear more from her. And then also just want to quickly mention that next week we have another great teacher, Lisa Ernst, who is someone who received their teacher transmission from Trudy. So we're really excited to have Lisa next week. And thank you so much.
And I just would like to say, I didn't look at the chat while I was teaching, but I see your question, Clara, and I want to apologize for not seeing it sooner and say, please bring it next week to Lisa, and be sure you do that. I'm sorry I didn't see it. And for next time, Madeline, let me know if you see something too. Okay, but this was just to me direct message, so you couldn't have seen it anyway. Anyway, thank you everybody so much, and maybe I'll see you in May.
Thank you everyone so much for joining.